welcome to today's session, which is on one of my favourite topics, empowered eating. So I've been a naturopath and a nutritionist for almost 10 years this year. And having an unhealthy relationship with food is probably one of the most common issues that I see with my clients. I certainly have my own interesting relationship with food over the years. I've seen my weight fluctuate. There have been times when I have hated my body, and what is sad is that I look at photographs of me in my 20s when I thought I was fat, and I cannot understand why I thought that. And I look back and I just feel sad about what a waste of time and energy was spent worrying about how I looked, when actually I look perfectly fine. And I'm definitely an emotional eater, and I come from a family where food was a big part of the love given, and you were expected to finish off your plate regardless of whether you were hungry or not. So now I'm in my 50s, and I still look at my body, and sometimes I cringe at what I see, but the difference is I am aware of it. I stop myself, and I'm learning to accept myself as I am, and I'm learning to see myself as others see me, which is not an easy task. And I've definitely worked with clients on weight loss in the past, and I found it frustrating because health is not the focus. It's always the scales and the weight is the focus, and everything else gets lost. So I'm at the point in my life now where I eat what I want. I don't binge. I don't feel guilty. I won't eat something just because it's healthy if I think it tastes like crap. And I won't not eat something just because I know it's unhealthy. But I eat really, really well 80% of the time, and for me that's good enough. And I have fun with food. I enjoy food. I don't feel guilty if I don't eat all of the food. If I'm full, then I don't have to eat everything on my plate. And that's not been an easy journey. And I've definitely still got things to work on. Now, in coaching, we use the idea of a wheel. It's usually either a wheel of life, or it could be the wheel of aspects of health. And just like a wheel or a tyre, you need everything to be all pumped up in order for the wheel to run smoothly. If there's any part of it that's a little bit deflated, it's a bumpy road. And in naturopathy, holism is part of our philosophy. The idea that as a human, we have to address not just our physical and our mental needs, but we have to address our emotional needs, our social needs, our spiritual and our energetic needs too. And we see this in traditional societies. They've always known this. So in New Zealand, the Māori model of health, Te Whare Tapawha, has 4 dimensions to health and well-being: the physical, the mental, the family, and the spiritual. And physical health isn't just our physical body. It includes our food, and it also includes our physical environment, whether that's the home we live in or the environment around our home, or even our work environment. It includes everything around us and physical. Mental health is a big part of that model of health too, and that includes your thoughts and your feelings and emotions. Family and is really about relationship to other people, the social aspect of health. So those that we surround ourselves with, they can either support our health, or they can drag us down and make it really challenging to be healthy, or to have a healthy relationship with food, or even a healthy relationship with ourselves too. And then we've got the spiritual aspect, and that's one that tends to be ignored the most in Western models of health, not so much in other traditional models of health. And it relates to the unseen, the unspoken energies, maybe our faith, whether that's a spiritual faith, religious faith, our own beliefs and philosophies, and also where the physical manifestations of health might actually be due to emotional or even the spiritual aspects that have been ignored. And that's a fantastic model to follow when it comes to eating and our relationship with food, because the food we eat, our thoughts, our feelings and our emotions, our relationships with others, our physical environment, our own spiritual and energetic health, all have a part to play in disordered eating, in putting on weight. Perhaps you're using food as a comfort. They all have a role to play. So if you just focus on the scales and the food, you're actually missing out on all of these other aspects that will make it really challenging. So recently, I qualified as an empowered eating coach, because this is something that I've been really passionate about for a long time, and it encompasses all those aspects. It covers 8 principles, which are the backbone of a healthy relationship with food. And that was created by a really cool health coach called Michelle Yandel. She was the creator of this course. And I love what I've learned on this course, and also incorporating the idea of the principles of naturopathy, the Māori health model, and the idea of this holism, that we have to address all of it. So I've kind of brought all of these things together. So the 8 principles of empowered eating is about finding your why, to understand it is not your fault, pressing pause, tuning in, falling in love with food, feeding the need, gentle nutrition, and living the life you crave. So I'm going to do some webinars over the next few months, and I'm going to address those aspects, and also other bits and pieces that I think are really important too. So finding your why is really important, because all behavior change needs that. You have to need to know why you want to change. It's the same if you create goals. You have to know, well, why do you really want that goal? What is it that you're going to get from it? What do you really want from this change? And why do you want to change right this minute? Why now? And why not later? Now, you might think you want to improve your relationship with food because you want to lose weight, but actually, if you delve a bit deeper, it might actually be because you want to be fit and healthy. You want a good quality life in your old age. You want to be able to play around with your grandkids when you're older. You don't want to be sick or die early, or end up with health issues that you see in your parents. That's the better why than I just want to lose weight. The other thing is, it's not your fault. So diets don't work. They work in the short term. They generally don't work in the long term unless you look at all of these other aspects. So they're really sustainable, rarely sustainable, and they are rarely about health. And they really deal with the reason why you are eating emotionally or overeating. What is it? Why is it that you do those things? You have to look at that and address that. So it's not your fault. The diet industry is meant to keep you on that wheel, like the little mouse wheel. Pressing pause is really about mindful practices. And this is something that I've done in challenges and webinars. I've talked about mindful eating. And it's about stopping before you eat and thinking about, how do you really feel? Why are you actually eating? And tuning in is the bit more of the mindful eating, where you're using your senses, you're slowing down your eating, and you're listening to your body's messages. That can help with lots of other issues, including bloating and gut problems, because half the time when you have bloating and reflux, it's usually because we're eating too quickly, we're eating too much, we're not chewing our food properly, and mindful eating can address all of those other symptoms too. Then we come to falling in love with food again. I've come to really understand the importance of bringing food back in. There are so many restrictive diets out there, and don't get me wrong, I use them. I use the FODMAPs diet. I use the keto diet if I feel that it's necessary, but they are short-term diets. I really don't think they're necessarily long-term diets. Depends on the person, but really what we should be doing is, instead of removing all these food groups, is actually enjoying food again. And it should be more about bringing food back and becoming replete with nutrients and not deplete, which is what I see time and time again. No more rules, no more guilt, time for food to be fun, time for you to really tune into what you need and what everyone else around you tells you you should have. Then it's about feeding that need. Emotional eating needs to be addressed. It's time that food was food, and that you don't use food to fulfill your emotional needs. If food isn't the problem, then food will never be the answer, is a really good quote. I know that when I'm fed up, miserable, I will eat emotionally. I know when I'm bored, I eat just to pass the time, and I've worked on that, and I'm really aware when I do it, and I can stop myself if I'm conscious of it, and I can teach you how to do that. And then we come to gentle nutrition. This is learning about what your body really needs in terms of nourishment. Simple, healthy eating that suits you. No bliss balls, chia seeds, kale salads inside, unless you want to eat them. Okay? If I teach you about nutrition and the gentle nutrition, it's really about carb appropriate nutrition. It's about enjoying, yes, the macros, but also having some fun with food and really enjoying it, and learning about what we need as women in particular, what's going to nourish you, but with no restrictions or set rules. It's really about what suits you and your body. You will know what your body needs, not your emotions, but your body. And then it's really about learning, instead of craving for food and wanting food to fill the gaps, actually about getting the life you crave. So getting rid of these obsessive thoughts around food, start living life, having some fun again, being comfortable in your own body, learning to respect yourself and accept. It might be a bit more challenging to love yourself, but at least accept yourself and know that it's important to nourish and take care of you. So I will, as I said, I'll be doing some more webinars about this. If you want to know more about where you are in terms of your own eating patterns, then I have a quiz for you to complete. You just need to email me at admin@sarah-britchie.com and I can send you that information. I'll put a link on my website too. So I'll put that link in here and you can have a play with the quiz, and then that will give you some answers and it will give you some ideas about what you can do around that. And if this is something that you really want help with, please give me a shout. I can actually, I can work with you on this. It takes about 2 to 3 months, but we can actually work on this together and I can help you improve your relationship with food. So this isn't for someone who has a diagnosed eating disorder. That's something, or an eating disorder that's not managed. This is really just about improving your relationship with yourself and food. So if this is something you're interested in, please send me an email, send me a message, PM me, DM me, and I would love to help you because this is a subject that I'm really passionate about. So take care and look out for those webinars and go to my website and click on the link and get the quiz if that's something that you would like to find out more about. Take care.